VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you as we are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. A nice little Wednesday carved out today, Paulie. Pretty busy, I must say. On this show, we have great guests, including former NFL MVP Rich Gannon, who brings the heat every single Wednesday. Sal Palantonio on the program in an hour from right now. But here's the news that we're looking at midweek. North Carolina is finalizing a deal, according to reports, to bring in Bill Belichick as their new head coach. Your top 5 most surprising sports moments of your life. You said that yesterday.
Yep. Stand by it.
Boston Red Sox traded for Garrett Crochet today. They have, according to all reports, a loaded farm system. They gave up a bunch of young players in the deal. Crochet was number 1 last year in Ks per 9. And you know the story with the White Sox. They just shut him down. But he was really, really good, and it kind of came out of nowhere. Red Sox made the move for him. It looks like this might be the winter meetings here could be hot and heavy for the Yankees.
Yes, that's right. They can make other moves. Finally, nice to see Boston do something. I know the fan base has been furious the last couple of years, and this is a big move. So if you believe the reports that they were close, or at least in on some of these deals, at least Boston's making an effort. So that's a nice move. Could have been a playoff team, except for the bullpen and what happened down the stretch. You know, the Mets also got Holmes and want to make him a starter. So you're right with everything heating up. And to what you said earlier, and it looks like it's going to get done. I'm 14 wins behind Don Shula, 72 years old. I'm going to try this NIL recruiting, Belichick to North Carolina.
You kind of think that's a little refreshing? Doesn't matter to him? Doesn't have to stick around on a bad team potentially to just get 15 more wins to call it a career right off into the sunset as the winningest coach in the history of the NFL?
They shouldn't be doing that, though. It's like you said yesterday. What's wrong with these owners?
I blame other teams.
What's wrong with the front office? He should be the top of the list. It's like, what? This guy's available? How can it be? Now, Belichick, the GM, got Belichick, the coach, fired. But that's just lunacy.
Right. And you know what? Maybe it would not work out. But I brought this up on the show yesterday. For the Chicago Bears, an organization like that, how is he not the centerpiece of your offseason? And you go all in to do what you can to bring it. And maybe he's there for 4 or 5 years and it doesn't work, but you know what? You tried. At least you tried.
What are your expectations right out of the gate?
For North Carolina?
Yeah.
I honestly have no idea. Because with the NIL money and, here's the thing. Like, he's a 72-year-old man who has thrived in media since his retirement, and he purposely was terrible when he talked to the press for 20 years in New England. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's a chance that correlates and he can connect and relate to young kids, and they know obviously who he is growing up because he's not that far removed from the Patriots dynasty. So these kids now were 10, 12, 13, 14 years old when it was still going on and Brady was still there in that range, you know what I'm saying? They're going to know it. It's not like he is out of sight, out of mind. So maybe players are going to say, okay, he's going to make it a pipeline to the NFL. I like what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Right? I want to have this conversation. I'm open to maybe going and play for this guy.
Yeah. And
who knows?
It could be Saban. Saban was a curmudgeon at the end. And just a grouchy guy about everything.
Sure.
But and then it's interesting he got turned off by this.
I think Saban's older than Belichick.
Is that right?
Can we check that, Luke?
Well, I also think Saban's great on game day. But he was also interesting. He got fed up because they're close friends, and the documentary on HBO between the two was awesome. Saban's older.
Yeah.
Wow, good call. But he just got fed up with this, and now Belichick's ready to jump in. I can't believe he's just going to say, maybe I don't. You say it's refreshing, but I'm still why it's stunned. 14 wins behind Shula, and just say, well, okay, I'm not going to wait or hope that as an NFL job, and I'm just going to jump into this, and it's North Carolina of all people.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he put out feelers, by the way, and other teams, the feedback is like, no, you're not going to be the coach and the GM. Sorry, didn't work well at the tail end there in New England. You can be the coach, you're not going to be the GM. Writings on the wall. Belichick's like, nah.
Yeah.
Not going to do that. I want all the power.
Pete Thamel, ESPN, is saying that the succession plan thing is real, too. And that's big where I want my son to take over.
Are we sure about that?
Well, that's what Thamel says. That's in the ESPN article. I think it was Chris Lowe who also was part of that. But that could be a big piece to this as well, not only from Belichick, but the family thing and the North Carolina thing, if they're on board with that too.
Let's fire this up, by the way. Michael Lombardi on the Lombardi line, mornings, 8 a.m. right here on VSiN. We'll get that for you coming up in a minute. But he basically said the exact opposite. And Michael Lombardi knows Belichick very well, obviously. Very well. And on his show today, he called that completely ridiculous. For the people out there that are suggesting that that's actually a thing that Belichick wants, Lombardi shot it down.
No, okay, it's multiple reports.
No, I know. So you got one side saying, a lot of people are saying that, and Michael Lombardi, who again has known Belichick for a long, long time, is like, come on, guys, get real. So, are you intrigued by it?
Absolutely. I'm shocked, and I can't wait to see what it looks like, and I can't believe it's going to happen. And it's also great, it's ACC, what it does for that league. It's like, okay, we got the greatest coach of all time coming in now. All right. See what Miami can do. Still have Dabo, SMU on the move. Incredible what they did. Level up. Now they're in the playoff. And now this guy's going to Carolina.
Watch him get that team into the playoffs in his very first year. Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be awesome. And if he can turn this thing around and they're a powerhouse.
Now, can he do it in a 12-team playoff, or is it going to be a 14-team playoff?
I know. I can't get enough of this. This is like Matt Damon, The Departed. I mean, I'm the mole. I got to find myself. Between the investigation of Brett McMurphy about who's the leak in the committee, and we have to get to the bottom of that. And now we haven't even started the playoff, and then it's, okay, let's go to 14. Now let's go to 14 on this. And it doesn't end there. Now, Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports, the college basketball tournament, in the process of going between 72 to 76 teams now.
Yeah, why would they not be? Don't you know a lot of people who have been begging for the tournament to expand in college basketball?
So now we're going to have play-in games probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be the week leading into it.
We'll have 76 now.
That'll be fun, but I said that sarcastically. I don't know a single human being, right, who has been saying for years, my God, please go to 76 teams in the tournament. Do you know one? I don't know one. There's no way you know a person who thinks...
Well, coaches based on bonuses. But
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
But I don't know them personally. And people, television people, whatever, that's...
Yeah. That I don't hate, though. I actually don't hate it. Because the Fran Fraschilla plan's pretty good. You just add in a couple playing games.
Yeah, and they could really make Tuesday and Wednesday super special,
sure,
I guess.
That's right, and that's what he would do. They would do. But it's also, look at who we're letting in then. I mean, think about the quality of teams on the bubble at that point.
Oh, I know. I would actually tell you that once the college football playoff expands to 14 or 16, you're still going to, like Paul, these teams on the outside this year, Alabama, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Miami, they're still good football teams. The teams that we're talking about in college basketball, when the bubble has actually gotten weaker over the years, fringe teams like 70 through 80, 82 that might be on the bubble.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Yeah. That's such a reach.
And we haven't even had a 12-team playoff yet. And the college football executive director, Rich Clark, says they're discussing 14 for 2026 among several options. A 14-team playoff with bids for the top 5 champs and buys for the top 2 champs would be Oregon, Georgia with the buys. Boise would play Indiana in the 9-8. Penn State would play Miami in the 4-13. Notre Dame would play Arizona State in the 5-12. Bama, Ohio State in the 6-11. Texas, Clemson stays the same. And SMU, Tennessee would be the 7-10. There it is. That's what it would look like. But it's just all coming down at the same time.
I know.
We haven't done. Let's go to 14. 14 who got about 16. 72? You want 76. Huh? How about 74? How do you want to do this? Okay.
You should be the auctioneer.
Got that.
How about this? Thanks to Matt on X, at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Paulie Howard, if you want to get involved. He found a North Carolina win total for next year already. Appears to be FanDuel, 6.5 wins.
God.
Up already, available to bet on.
Yeah.
All right, so we brought this up. Let's have you hear it for yourself. This is Michael Lombardi earlier today on his show. Again, the Lombardi Line, 8 a.m. Eastern, every day right here on VSiN, talking about this Belichick idea with the succession plan.
Well, I definitely think it's news because Coach Belichick talked about it. I think there's a lot of misinformation that's out there relating to what's going on behind the scenes and the succession plan, which is obviously ridiculous. But, there's a lot of misinformation. But I think clearly the two sides have talked. Bill's admitted that, so I'm not speaking for him. two sides have engaged in conversations, and I think we'll probably find an answer out sometime today, whether he decides to or not. But I don't think this has anything to do with succession plans. If you know everything about Bill Belichick, you know that every job becomes earned, whether it's the starting quarterback and you're Tom Brady or whether you're an assistant coach. So it's kind of interesting how things kind of lend itself to these rumors, and you can't stop.
Okay. There you go. Michael Lombardi earlier today, pretty strong on the situation there.
Yep, ESPN. The ball's in Belichick's court. Among the issues, the potential role for his son and current Washington defensive coordinator Stephen Belichick, North Carolina's name, image, and likeness resources, Belichick's salary, and resources for the staff and reporting structure. But, according to multiple reports, inside the 5-yard line.
Okay. Right. We also have the NBA Cup going on tonight. 2 games, which we'll get to over the next 3 hours of the show. I do find it, I have to be honest, I find it refreshing because there's no BS that comes along with it, right? There's no back-to-backs. There's no 3 games in 4 days, 4 games in 6 nights. And these players care, but that's more on that coming up.
Yep. VSiN, perfect holiday gift. Sign up. Get everything we do through May 1st, $79. Every best bet, every host, every guest. Betting splits, DraftKings, Circa. 24/7 video access, hippo videos, dog videos. Everything we have in the jackpots, not to mention college football playoff guide coming out soon with all the picks and every guide that we do. VSiN.com/subscribe. Holiday special now. Great gift. Everything we do May 1st. $79. Up there again today, loaded. Everyone loves the prop analyzer. How about the one that jumps out today? Draymond Green, 12-2 run to the over with 3-pointers. VSiN.com.
Former NFL MVP Rich Gannon on the program coming up next. He's an awards voter. Can Jamar Chase win Offensive Player of the Year, even if the Bengals have a losing record? We'll ask him coming up next here on VSiN.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah. Came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board here on a Wednesday, and every week at this time, former NFL MVP Rich Gannon joins the program, and he is on the Progressive guest line. Rich, always a pleasure to talk to you. How you been?
Guys, it's great. A lot of stuff happening in and around the NFL. It's kind of been an exciting day.
Yeah, really. Okay, so we're going to eventually get to A.J. Brown here in a minute, but I want to begin on a positive note here with the same position. And you're an awards voter. I went back and looked all the way back to 1990 because the Bengals, good chance they're going to finish below 500, but if they win out, they'll be 9-8. I wanted to see if a player ever won the award, Offensive Player of the Year, on a team that was below 500. Some players won it on a team that had 8 wins during the 16-game schedule, like Drew Brees with the Saints, Priest Holmes with the Chiefs. But nobody that I could find ever won the award on a team below 500. If the Bengals finish 8-9 or somehow went out and finished 9-8 and he has a Cooper Kupp type year, do you think he can win this?
Oh, I think so. To me, guys, I'm not going to hold back the record on a guy that's had just a terrific season. You look at Jamar Chase, really Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I've been saying this for the past 6 weeks. What a wasted opportunity for the Cincinnati Bengals. You got a quarterback that's playing at an elite level, at an all-pro level, and you got a receiver that's just been on fire. He's obviously playing for a lot of money, and because he loves playing football, and the two of them have been unstoppable. You look at the numbers that Jamar Chase has put up this season: 15 receiving touchdowns, over 1,300 yards. I think he's got 93 receptions on the season, and he's playing as well as any player in the league at any position. I mean, he's had that type of impact on the Bengals offense. Could you imagine if the Bengals could protect a little bit better, could run the ball and play defense? Mm-hmm. We'd be talking about one of the better teams in the AFC.
Absolutely. This is right up your alley. And I remember growing up in Minnesota, Chris Carter used to complain once in a while.
A lot.
After wins. I couldn't believe it. So things are going great in Philly, and now A.J. Brown complaining. How do you deal with this, and how dangerous could this be in the Philadelphia locker room?
It's disappointing. I think it's frustrating for Nick Sirianni. You won 9 straight games. There's so many good things happening in Philadelphia. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. And now you've got a player in the locker room that's not happy. And I get it. A.J. Brown is a dominant playmaker at that position. He's not getting the touches and opportunities and the receptions that you'd like. And I think it's a challenge for everybody, not just the head coach, but the offensive coordinator as well. And I think, look, guys, you play to a certain style right now, and the Eagles are just bullying people in the running game. The running back, Saquon Barkley, has over 1,000 rushing yards in the second half of games. And I think when you look at them grabbing leads early and playing really good and being the more physical team and just leaning on you in the running game to run out the clock, then you're not going to get as many opportunities in the passing game. I think when you look at Jalen Hurts, I think this is where he's at his best. If you get into situations where we're going to throw it 30 times a game, I think he gets exposed a little bit. But you have to still find a way to get your best players touches early in games. They haven't done a really good job of that. But I would say this. It speaks to, you look at A.J. Brown and some of these, great receivers. I played with Chris Carter. I mean, I remember we played in Cincinnati one time, Boomer Esiason, went over there and played the Bengals. I think we beat them 47-0 or 47-7, something like that. I was the AFC offensive player or the NFC offensive player of the week. Threw 4 touchdowns. I think 3 of them to Chris Carter. I think he had like 12 or 13 grabs for over 100 yards. I threw him a ball. I don't know why we were still in the game in the fourth quarter, but I threw him a ball late in the game, an out route, and I just missed him. I just it's maybe the one and only throw I missed that day. He turned to me, gave me the worst look. And I walked to the sidelines and I said, Chris, if you ever look at me like that again, I'll never throw you the ball. And as great a player as he was, and I played with some Hall of Famers. I played with Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, Tony Gonzalez. I played with a lot of great players. Chris was a handful. And as good as he was a very difficult and challenging teammate. And it is what it is. There's some guys you really enjoy playing with. Chris wasn't one of them.
Okay, wow. That's incredible. Wow. So based on what happened in Philadelphia then with A.J. Brown, it happened last year when he was complaining during a win. And he went out the next 6 games and had more than 125 yards receiving in all of them. I'm guessing, and Kellen Moore talked about this already this week, they're going to make it a focal point, you think, of the offense. You mentioned right away, but maybe full game on Sunday against the Steelers to get him the ball?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's foolish to say we're going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got a really good defense. They got some great pass rushers, and we're going to have our quarterback drop back 35 times just so we can make sure that A.J. Brown gets going. I think in the scheme of things, I think you have to have the conversations with the player. I think he has to understand, situationally who we are and what's at stake. And there's going to be games where he gets off. I think when you're running the ball as well as they are, they should be much better in a play action game. They should be much better at throwing the ball on first down. I think some of it falls on Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator. I think you have to find ways, not just Saquon Barkley, but you got to find ways to get your best players early, get them going early in games. And they haven't done that enough in Philadelphia this season.
Who do you like in the Bills-Lions game? And it's going to be a shootout, an incredible quarterback play.
That's going to be a great game. We've got two teams that I think are similar, guys, in terms of how they've been built, right? Good line play, tough, physical, gritty competitors, two really good quarterbacks, two good coaching staffs, two good play callers, sound in the kicking game. I mean, they don't shoot themselves in the foot. I mean, this is going to be a great game. And Jared Goff I think he's, him and Sam Darnold are kind of like the Rodney Dangerfield of NFL quarterbacks. They don't get enough respect. I really like what I'm seeing from Goff this year. And, of course, you look at Josh Allen. He's having an MVP-type season for the Buffalo Bills. I think it's going to be a shootout. I feel sorry for both these defensive coordinators.
Yeah, no kidding. What do you think here? How many of these teams out of the two here get to the Super Bowl? You think both?
I got
my
list right here, guys.
Okay.
I've got six teams.
Wow.
That I like. I got 3 in the AFC, 3 in the NFC. I gave you the 3 teams in the NFC: Detroit, Philly, and Minnesota. Okay, I'll give you my 3 teams in the AFC: Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Kansas City. Okay, that's 6. Let me give you my final 3, and here's why. If you look at Philly, Minnesota, and Pittsburgh, my concern is when you get into the postseason, you play against better defenses, better coordinators, better quarterbacks, better quarterback play, offenses that can score points, better coaching. And there's a fine line. And I think you can only hide guys for so long. Sam Darnold, I worry about him when he gets into those type of games. Can he behave himself and not throw the ball to the other team? And Philly and Pittsburgh, they've got these quarterbacks that are good players. Russell Wilson, we just talked about Jalen Hurts. If push comes to shove and you get them in games where they have to come from behind, they have to throw the football, I think they become exposed. The other 3 teams, I think, give you the best chance of advancing to a Super Bowl: Detroit, Buffalo, and Kansas City. And not only advancing to a Super Bowl, but winning a Super Bowl. What's happening in Detroit this year? They're setting records. They've won 11 straight games or 12 straight, whatever it's been. Buffalo, we know about Josh Allen. I did a whole report today, guys. You'd be proud of me. I got it right here on my desk. I did a whole report on Josh Allen, okay? This guy is so unique. I said one of the most dominant players in the NFL at any position. He's 6'5". He's 237. Let me read off some numbers for 7 seasons. 190 passing touchdowns, 62 rushing touchdowns, 252 total touchdowns. He's a scoring machine. You look at him this year: 23 passing touchdowns, 9 rushing touchdowns, lowest turnover rate and sack rate in his career. He's cutting down on the mistakes. He's thrown 14 touchdowns and just 1 pick versus the blitz. I mean, if I had to pick a team and start a team tomorrow, I'd have a tough time thinking, do I take this guy or Patrick Mahomes? That's how good Josh Allen has been this season.
What has to happen for him not to win the MVP at this point?
I think I think that these next 4 games are important, right? I think going out to Los Angeles and losing and putting up the kind of game he had, 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. I mentioned to you guys earlier. That hasn't happened. It's only happened one other time. You have to go back to Otto Graham, the 1954 NFL championship game. I mean, every week it's something different. The week before he's got a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown. I mean, I don't see him slowing down. But I think it would take something. I think it would take a couple of really bad performances on primetime in a national game for him to not win the award.
Yeah, well said. And in about 90 seconds here, very big game tomorrow night. 49ers, more injuries. Very important game for both these teams. Niners hosting the Rams. San Francisco here, circa favored by a margin of 3. Do you have an opinion on this game? Who's going to win?
I like the 49ers. Look at the season that Brock Purdy has had quietly, guys. I think he leads the National Football League in yards per attempt. They've been banged up all around him. These are 2 really great coaches that know each other well, 2 teams that know each other well. Obviously, the Rams have won 5 of the last 6, but I kind of like the 49ers. I just, on a short week, Thursday night, there's a lot to play for if you're the 49ers, as is the Rams, but I think the 49ers are going to surprise some people on Thursday night.
Yeah, we opened on wide receivers. Let's close here then, maybe on a refreshing note. how enjoyable would it be for you to play with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp?
I love both of them, but let me just quickly say this about Puka Nacua. He's very rare and unusual for the position. His position versatility is fascinating. You know, they put him on the wing, and he's blocking in the running game, the screen game, the quick game, down the field. I mean, he's just a complete player at that position. I just think there's a lot of great receivers. We just talked about Jamar Chase. They all come in different shapes and sizes. But this guy, I'm just telling you guys, he is an absolute beast at the wide receiver position.
Rich, awesome as always. Thank you so much for the time today. Enjoy your week.
You guys are the best. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. Former NFL MVP Rich Gannon on the Progressive Guest Line.
Look at me like that again. I'll never throw you the ball.
That was the answer to Chris Carter. Phenomenal. Oh my God, was that good? We will go over the best and worst teams in the NFL ATS with totals up next here on VSiN.
Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. Rich Gannon was so good moments ago. We'll replay the answer that he had on A.J. Brown, tied to Chris Carter, a little bit later on in the show. And I would highly advise that if you missed his spot, or if you missed any shows, you can simply get the new VSiN Watch app on your phone. Get it right at the Apple App Store. Get it on the Google Play Store for your Android. You can go back and listen to Rich Gannon, who was on at 4:15 Eastern, 1:15 Pacific today. And as always, he was extraordinary. God, I love his insight. Here we go with the a look at best teams in the NFL, ATS, the worst teams as well. We'll get into totals on top of it. The best now against the spread, Denver and Pittsburgh are each 10-3 on the season, ATS. I have bet both teams, but only a couple of times this year. I certainly have not, looking back, I wish I would have bet them more. Detroit 9-4, same as the Chargers. Minnesota and Washington 8-4-1 against the spread. The worst teams in the NFL, Titans, that continues 2-11. All you need to know was last Sunday.
Yes, horrific.
2-11 ATS.
Hard to do.
The Jets take money every week. They're 4-9, favored against Jacksonville this week. Cleveland, Dallas, and the Giants are all 4-9. The best teams to the over. Baltimore, 10-3, off the bye.
Sorry, not on Rich's list. Surprised? Not there with the defense, I imagine.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit surprised, though.
I'd have to have them on that list, though.
So they're on my list to win the whole thing.
Yep.
Bengals are 9-4 to the over, going over by 8.8 points per game. They did not go over against the Cowboys on Monday. You could argue that it easily could have. Cowboys with the INT at the 5-yard line. Commanders, Panthers, also 9-4. The following teams are all 8-5 to the over. Tampa, Buffalo, Las Vegas, Dallas, Denver, and New England. The best teams to the under in the NFL. The Chargers, Giants, and Texans are all 9-4 to the under. Isn't that something with the Giants, the way it continues every single year, especially at home? You must have had a heyday with that Saints game.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this, I think it got as low as 19.5. Is this now 16.5 with the Tommy DeVito news? I mean, where are we at now? Are we
here?
This is crazy. I thought it was right behind me. Sorry. I mean, this is nuts now. Luck is out. Ton of guys are out. When are you?
Yeah, I'm seeing 16.5.
Yeah. Are we gonna have a 17-point road favorite here?
Well, so we're looking at the highest point spread of the year, and another game has the highest total of the year. That's Detroit and Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
Philly, Chicago, Minnesota, and Atlanta are all 8-5 to the under. College football is done. We put a bow on that last week. We'll go to the NBA now. The Cavaliers are 18-7 ATS. Memphis, a lot of people like them coming into the season.
Yep.
17-8 against the spread, same as Toronto. Houston in action tonight, small favorite against Golden State at home. They're 16-8 ATS. Nets are on the list. The Clippers and the Thunder round out the best teams in the NBA. The worst teams in the association, the Wizards are 6-15-1 against the spread. So all these huge numbers, bad at covering.
Mitch, it's so bad. I mean, they shocked the world a couple games ago against Denver.
Yeah.
But they had lost, I think, 16 in a row. 15 of them were by double digits before the win. It's horrendous.
Yep. Pacers are 8-16-1. Phoenix 8-15. Pelicans are 9-16. Boston's 9-15 ATS. And the other three teams on the board here, Denver, Minnesota, and Milwaukee, are all 5 games below 500. The best teams in the NBA to the over, Denver, 15-7. Atlanta in action tonight against the Knicks, 17-8. Memphis, Indiana, and Cleveland are all 16-9. Best teams to the under in the NBA. You know what? Check that. Not enough teams qualified, so we didn't put them on the list. Your best college hoops teams against the spread. College basketball now. Oregon State is 7-0, and they're covering on average by 10.3 points per game. Make a note of that if you haven't already.
Hello.
The Bonnies with Woj as the GM, 8-1 ATS. Houston Christian, 7-1. How much can you get down on a Houston Christian game?
Good question.
Furman, Liberty, and Elon are 7-1. Florida A&M, Southeast Louisiana, Idaho State, 6-1. You got to love college hoops. 350-plus teams. Sometimes you might have 140 games on the board on a given day. Worst teams in college basketball. Louisiana's 0-8 ATS. The Gophers are 1-8-2 against the spread. Got blown out by Indiana the other night. Stony Brook, St. Louis, Texas Southern, all 1-7. Grand Canyon, Kansas City, and UNLV are 1-6 against the spread. The best over teams in college hoops. Akron 6-0, but they're going over on average by 16 points per game. North Florida is 8-0, going over by 14-plus points per game. South Dakota, Indiana State, 8-1 to the over, each going over by double digits on average. Dayton, Manhattan, Tennessee State, Ohio, William and Mary, Idaho, all 7-1. Ohio has a push in there, but you can see if you're watching the show, they're all going over pretty much no problem. The best under teams in college basketball, Wagner, 6-0-1, staying under by 14 points per game. Oakland, 7-0 under, staying under by 13 points per game. Louisville, Youngstown State, Kansas, 8-1 under. Stephen F. Austin, Arkansas Little Rock, Kent State, and Austin P are all 7-1 to the under. There you go. NFL, NBA, and college basketball.
Excellent. Hockey, number 1, Washington, up 12 units. This is risking $100. Jets, 6 units and change. Minnesota Wild, St. Louis Blues, 5 units and change. Vegas Golden Knights, 460. Worst team ROI, Nashville. You're getting crushed. They won the offseason. Who cares? Down 17 units. Then the Islanders, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and the Rangers. Numbers courtesy of Joe Osborne. NFL, first quarter, Saints 10-3 ATS. Eagles 2-11. Colts 6-1 ATS on the road. Giants, Chicago, Dallas 1-6 ATS at home. Kansas City and Seattle 1-6 at home. First halves, Detroit and Houston 11-2 ATS. Giants 0-7 ATS at home. Dallas 0-6 ATS at home. Chicago 0-6 ATS on the road. Carolina 11-1 overrun. Denver 11-2 first half over.
Wow.
Seattle 1-6 underrun at home. Tampa, Dallas 6-1 overrun at home. Tampa plays Dallas coming up in a few weeks.
I'll follow up on your NHL numbers here with a good nugget as a team that usually is thought of, 6.5 with the totals, high-scoring outfit, not great goaltending. They won 2-1 last night in overtime. That is now 13-3 to the under in their last 16. Thank you to Jared, who listens/watches the show every single day. It's the Maple Leafs.
Ooh.
They are getting phenomenal goaltending. They're splitting up between 2 different guys, both playing like awesome between the pipes. But that is something that I think is probably under the radar to most people. 13-3 under last 16 for the Maple Leafs. That had a 6.5 on it last night against New Jersey. New Jersey had 39 shots on goal. They scored once. So the Maple Leafs are really humming with a different approach this year to their games.
Good numbers.
Yeah. You were betting Carolina over first half recently.
Mm-hmm.
That going to continue against Dallas?
Yeah, I think so.
I think the game has a good chance to go over,
coming
too.
there. Yeah, Bryce is playing well. It's also huge to get Thielen. Look at the offense since Thielen came back, right? Remember, he had the touchdown against the Raiders. Randy Dalton got hurt. And he's been awesome since he came back and helping out Bryce Young, who continues to improve. And certainly they can't stop anything. So right back with that one, too. And I've been pleasantly surprised by Cooper Rush. He's doing a good job. Yeah. And he's got great weapons.
Here's what I've been thinking about the last couple of weeks with Carolina. How do we assess that team in the offseason and then for next year? Because they're going to have, in theory, a weak schedule, right?
Well, they'll be popular.
That's the thing.
Yeah, win totals and worst to first and all that.
Yeah, is it people making the case for the win total to go over? Maybe a playoff team. Is that going to be a complete overreaction from what we're watching? Or could this be something that carries over to next year and maybe Bryce Young really has improved to the point of where, he flipped it around here?
Well, that's what they'll be banking on. The other interesting one will be what's going to happen with the Jets. You don't dare run that back.
Oh, no.
You're going to have an easy schedule, but that's
I'm
people are going to ask out, I would think.
More than Rodgers and his age, I'm way more concerned about the defense. Way more.
Yep. In sports betting and trading, probability is the key to success. Discover the power in high probability trading with Todd Bubba Horwitz, former floor trader and sports bettor with over 45 years of experience. BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. Code VSiN500 to save 500. Don't miss the chance to gain the edge in your trading game today. That's BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. Promo code VSiN500. Welcome aboard. Good to have you.
Do you have a strong opinion on the game tomorrow night?
No, I don't. It's a tough game. And certainly it's over if the Niners lose.
But Trent Williams, no Bosa?
Yeah, right.
For the 49ers in that game?
Hard. And again, everyone knows Shanahan owns McVay, but you're coming off an A-plus game. Now, can you do it again?
How does Jennings not go off here?
Yeah.
Right? He had 175 yards the first time. Receivers can kill the Rams.
That seemed like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Game. Yeah.
He's their best receiver with no Brandon Ayuk. Paul will recap last night's betting action with Win Some, Lose Some next here on VSiN.
Got a good thing coming, so wait and see. It's a good.
You spoke, we listened. Introducing the all-new VSiN Watch app. Now, you can watch and listen to VSiN expert analysis live wherever you are. Missed a show? No problem. Catch replays of VSiN's full lineup at any time. View highlights sorted by sport. Or use the search feature to find specific teams and topics you're looking for. And the best part? It's free for a limited time. Download the VSiN Watch app today. Available now on the App Store and Google Play. And join us on the Sports Betting Network. last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, short card with exams and the holidays right around the corner. College hoops, North Dakota State 9-1. 14-point dogs beat Butler. Cornell plus 350. Arkansas beat Michigan plus 155. Brown 160. And College of Charleston 3-1. NHL, Carolina Hurricanes opened 450, closed as high as 550 against the Sharks. And one better down the street made all these bets in the summer at the Westgate, can win $1 million if Boise State wins it all.
Yep.
How about that? Great hedging opportunity. You never know.
Well, he got some insane numbers.
Yeah.
2,000-1 on Boise at the Westgate.
He's in.
Phenomenal.
He's in the dance. He's got a shot. I see FanDuel put numbers up, too. Penn State would be 11.5 in that matchup. But long ways to go, but at least he's got a shot here. Good for him. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put them in and put you on. Look at the dog with his toy dinosaur with his spot climbing out the window and then sits down. It's all about the sun, too, right? We've shown 4 of these in the last couple weeks. The whole key to this is I need my animal and I want the sun involved, too, on my little bed. And that's his routine. Coming up, couch, going back outside. I loved the one a couple weeks ago where the guy brings like 10 toys out there and he goes on the deck to sit down and sleep. That's excellent. This one is, the dog has to be, do you ever see this? Or experience this?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Not quite like this, but...
This is great. The puppy has to be next to the owner at all times. She's doing work. She's writing. She just scoots him over a little bit. Can you go back? No. No. And he comes right back under. No. I'm good. See?
I need to be right here.
Yeah, right. She just moves him over. No,
I don't think so.
In. That's not going to work. I got to be right next to you. Yep. Absolutely. And one more with the Zoomies. Look at the big fella out here. Bring your dog to work day. I think it's a French bulldog just running around the table, the meeting table the whole time in the room. He's coming in so excited. Yeah, he's got the Zoomies. Bring your dog to work day, and he can't get enough of it. That's excellent. Get some exercise in and write her over and over and over again. One lose some in light of what happened a couple weeks ago in college football, especially with the Michigan-Ohio State debacle and how it started. Plague planting, now a felony.
Okay, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my entire life. This is the person who is trying to pass this, by the way.
Yeah.
You are awful for sports. Go away. We do not want you with your nose in any sport on the planet ever. You, sir, are a complete idiot. Period. I'm done.
Yep. Ready to elevate your tailgate game? You have to try Sewell's, born from a backyard cookout and a mason jar of unforgettable flavor. Sewell's has become a Southern favorite, lighting up taste buds from Georgia to the Carolinas, from ribs and wings to a backyard burger. Sewell's takes every bite to the next level. Order online, Sewell'sBarbecueSauce.com, Sewell'sBarbecueSauce.com. Southern hospitality never tasted so good. Now, Field Yates. ESPN.com. Updated mock draft. Sanders going number 1 to the Giants. Cam Ward going number 2.
Okay, first of all, will the Sanders family allow that to happen? By all accounts, by his social media accounts, Shedeur Sanders wants to play with the Raiders. Wants to be here.
Weekly tweets.
Will they flip this? Remember when Eli did this 20 years ago, didn't want to go to then San Diego, can't do it. You know, everybody gets involved from the Manning family. Nope, got to go to the Giants. Okay, went to the Giants. So now with the Giants on the board, if they're picking number 1 overall, will it flip 20 years later and he'll say, sorry, don't want to go there. I'm not going to play for you. Don't take me or trade me to Las Vegas. I'd love to see it happen.
That would be something. Odds to get the number 1 pick. Giants 41%. Patriots 23%. Panthers 10.5%, Raiders 10.2%, Jacksonville 5%.
Now, would you take Sanders number 1 overall based on talent?
Boy.
He had a hell of a year. I poo-pooed the entire idea last offseason. On the field, potentially. But then you want to get all the potential baggage that's involved.
Right.
With Dion and what that might be like.
So where are you at with Cam Ward? Top 5 pick? By the way, he only has 2 quarterbacks in the first round. That's it.
Good.
They're going 1-2.
I can't get there with Cam Ward. No.
Okay. Damn.
You like him top 5?
I like him, but that's top 5's a different discussion. But certainly the Raiders need to do something finally at the quarterback position and get one of them. Because just putting out retreads and the aging veteran and all that stuff hasn't worked out. He also has Genty to the Cowboys at number 12.
I don't want to see that.
Why not?
I don't want to see him go there. They get too much talent. How many times have they had a guy that just is awesome at the position? I'd rather see him go somewhere else, to be honest. They always hit it out of the park with these skilled players. It's like Minnesota. The Vikings always have like dynamite skilled players fall to them. How does that happen?
You think you'd be a good pro?
In the right spot, sure.
What do you think of a running back, top 15, top 10?
That's another story.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to see that, though.
But the Cowboys would probably be the team that would pull that off.
Yeah. And he also has Warren going to the Chargers, like 27th or something like that. Like that'd be a good fit, too.
Well, I can tell you now that Sanders is now, he was even money a couple of weeks ago, and I'm sitting on, this is why I don't want the Giants or the Raiders to get number 1 overall, because I'm sitting on Hunter at 18-1 to go number 1.
Okay, as I'm going third. Yep.
He's not good, but if it's the Giants or the Raiders picking first, which is probably going to be, Hunter's not going to go first.
You need the Patriots somehow.
Or Jacksonville.
Yes, I'm going to New England at 3.
Yeah.
But that's right. The Giants aren't going to win a game.
So now Sanders is minus 125 at FanDuel. He's minus 145 at BetMGM. I'm not, even when I'm sitting on Hunter right now, 18-1, there's no way I'd get myself to bet Sanders today. What are we, 4.5 months out of the draft? I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to do that because anything could happen.
When was Carson Beck first?
Oh, earlier, probably October.
What was he?
We were laughing on the air. Well,
number 1 pick.
Yeah, the shortest shot on the board was Carson Beck at like 6-1, but then it was Quinn Ewers, and then it was probably another quarterback, and they were all in that range. And we brought it up on the air. And we're just like, this guy, I don't even think he was a 3rd-round pick, is I think what I said at the time.
Did you hear Brock Heward Friday night on the Boise State game? I thought he was excellent with Benetti.
Well, what part?
Okay, I just thought he was number 1. I
love the broadcast. I think both those guys are awesome.
I think Heward's great. He said he talked to Chris Peterson, and they agreed if only coaches voted, Genty would win the Heisman because they realize what he's doing is so difficult. And he thinks Genty should win it. So the odds have gone from 19-1 to now 8-1 with the Heisman on Genty. Every single poll that is put out, ESPN, Fox, every poll that I have seen is who wins. It's Genty in a runaway. That's the fan perspective.
Right.
That you have to give it to Genty. But he's 8-9-1 right now. And this goes back the last couple of weeks. Every single poll. McMurphy put one out. ESPN put one out. I think it was Fox. Every one. It's not even close who they think should win the Heisman.
Remember we talked to Pat Forty last week? And he was strongly hinting that Hunter was going to be his guy, but he was also going to let it play out. I wonder if Genty did enough in that game. I mean, it was more than 200 yards.
And he wasn't getting enough touches in the second half. Brock Heward also said that. If you had already turned your ballot in, you should never be allowed to vote again.
100%. I've been saying that for my entire adult life.
Yes, right.
You have to let the entire season play out before you submit your vote or make up your mind. You have to. It's unfair. It's unfair to everybody involved. But I think a lot of people did, unfortunately.
Well, 800 people vote. So we'll see. That was an interesting perspective between Peterson and Heward about what they thought if it was just coaches who would win the Heisman.
Yeah,
here's my point. I think he should take some 9-10-1. I think it's mispriced, and I think it's going to be close. That's what I think.
Here's what I like about it. It's going to be a non-quarterback this year, right? It's going to be a guy who played wide receiver and cornerback. Now, if he only played wide receiver, does he win the award? I'm going to say no chance. But he played both positions. Some would tell you at an elite level on both sides of the ball. And Genty is a non-power 4 now, running back, and with a chance to win the award. I think that's pretty cool. Rather than every year, it was just a lazy, let's take a stroll down the lazy river and give it to Jason White from Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Or the best quarterback on the team that had the best, the quarterback that had on a team with the best record. Total nonsense.
What are his numbers if Boise didn't take him out in blowouts?
Oh, yeah, right.
That's another thing.
Rather than throwing him the ball in blowouts. You know?
Yeah. That's right. Great point. It's 42-0. Colorado's throwing him the ball.
Sure.
Genty's out and not playing in blowouts.
Right. And go out there and do the Heisman pose again.
Yeah.
You know? Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. ESPN Sal Paolantonio on the show coming up next. We'll get his hottest opinion for the week in the NFL on VSiN.
Join us on A Numbers Game, where Gil Alexander takes you on an informative and entertaining ride. Focus